All right, so the first step that we have to do for this recipe is to preheat our ovens to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. So can everyone do that for me right now? Go to your oven and preheat it to 375.
Okay, Caitlin, come on over here. Push bake.
And then once everyone has that done, just give me a thumbs up. I see 2 thumbs ups. 3. All right, Nicholas, assuming you're done. If you're not, just let me know. Otherwise, we're going to go on to the next step. So the first thing we're going to do is measure and chop our spinach. So I just have a bag of baby spinach here, and we need 1 cup. So spinach is a little tricky to measure sometimes because we're using a very small measuring cup. And spinach tends to be a little bit larger. So we're just going to try and pack it in to get the correct amount that we want. So I'm just going to take the spinach. And like I said, this already looks like it wouldn't fit, but just pack it in to measure it. I'll do another little handful.
Okay, come on, we're going to tear the kale. Come over here.
And then once you have that, you can just dump it right on your cutting board because then we're going to chop it.
Pull it.
So then once you have all the spinach on the cutting board, we're going to chop it not too small pieces because you don't want to see the chunks of the spinach throughout the burger. But what you're just going to kind of get it together in a little pile. And we're going to grab our knife the way that we know how to hold a knife with your fingers on the sides, holding the backs firmly. And you're kind of just going to take that rocking motion that we know and just kind of rock through the spinach. Make sure you're careful of your fingers. So I just rocked through that pile of spinach. Now I'm going to push it together again, turn it a little so I get some new angles on the cuts. And we're going to rock it one more time. Now my pieces are a little big after that, so I'm probably just going to do it one more time. So now all my spinach pieces are around like this big. That's a good size. That way they're not super small. You can still taste them in the burger and you can see them in the burger too. They'll have those nice green specks in there. So you want your spinach to be around that size, unless you want it smaller or larger, in which case do that. And then once you have your spinach all cut, just give me a thumbs up. Perfect, Caitlin, I see you. Kathleen, I see you. Nicholas, you still working on your spinach? Good work, keep it going. Joshy, I see you hard at work too. And then once everyone's done with that, we'll move on to our next ingredient. Once you're done with, if you have your spinach done already, you can take your large mixing bowl and just put the spinach right in there, because that's where we're gonna mix all our burgers. So then once your spinach is cut and put in the mixing bowl, you can give me a thumbs up and then we'll go on to the next thing. I see a few already. If you guys aren't done yet, don't worry, take your time. And these burgers are a great way to add some vegetables into your burger that you might not have. So when you have your burger, you'll have a good amount of spinach with it too, which is great. All right, how's everyone doing? Anyone still working? If you are, just let me know. Joshy, I see your thumbs up. All right, looks like we have all thumbs up, so we can go on to our next ingredient, which is going to be garlic. So we're going to mince 1 clove of garlic, or if you have a handy tool, this garlic press, you can use that. That's what I'm going to do. So I just have to smash my garlic clove first. Or if you have already minced garlic, that's totally fine also. That's a super easy way to use garlic. For the garlic press, I'm just going to cut this root end of the garlic off. So if you're using a garlic press, you can follow these instructions also. Just gonna bring my bowl over first. And then this tool is really cool. So it has all these little holes at the bottom, and that's where the garlic comes out of. So I have a pretty big clove. So I'm gonna take this clove, stick it in here, right in there, and then you just push down. And now all your garlic is in really small pieces. So it's a very quick and easy way to get your garlic chopped really fine. And I'm just going to take a non-sharp knife and just scrape everything that didn't fall right off into the bowl as well. And if you're not using a garlic press and you have to chop the garlic, you can just chop them into as small pieces as you would like or are comfortable with chopping. And if you're using pre-minced garlic, a good spoonful should be the perfect amount to use. So once you have your garlic all set, give me a thumbs up again. Caitlin, I see you. Nicholas, I see you peeling the garlic. Good job. Joshy, I see you. Awesome. Everyone's doing great. All right, do we have anyone still working? Okay, keep working. We'll wait for you.
How many garlics again? I'm sorry.
Just one clove.
Okay, so just one, Papa.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yes.
And the nice thing about this burger recipe too is you could be able, right now we're making it with turkey, but you could easily change that out for any other preferred meat that you might have. You could easily do ground chicken. If you prefer a regular burger, you could do ground beef. So it's a very versatile recipe. So you could always try and change it even after we make it this time and see if you like it better, switch out the mix-ins, anything like that. Yes, Sayla, I see your question. So the garlic will go into the big mixing bowl with the spinach. Everything that we're doing right now, we're just going to put into the mixing bowl, and then that's going to make our burger mix. That's what makes this recipe so easy as well. That we can just put everything into a bowl, mix it, and then we're ready to make them. Perfect, Nicholas. I see you're ready. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the onion. So the way that we're going to do this, the onion this time is very different from how we've done it in previous recipes. So we're going to be grating our onion, and what that does is just makes it into smaller pieces so that it becomes more of a mixture, not as much of a bite in the burger. So in order to do that, the first thing that we're going to do is cut our onion in half. That's just going to help us peel our onion easier, and we're only using half of the onion, so it helps. So you're going to hold your knife the way that you know and just make a cut right down the middle. We're only using half, so you can just take the other half and set it aside, use it for something else. And then I also like to cut off, there's two ends of this onion. This one is still mostly skin, and then this end has, you can't really see it well on this side, but it has the little roots. You want to leave that end intact. So you want to do the end opposite from the root and just cut a little bit off to help us peel also. And then you're going to take this outermost layer. It's usually mostly just a skin layer, and you're just going to peel that off because we don't want that going into our burger. So now I have my whole onion exposed. So once everyone has their onion peeled, give me a thumbs up and then we'll keep going. I see you, Nicholas. I see you, Kathleen. I see you, Caitlin. Josh, are you good? Perfect. Sayla, I can't see you, but if you need more time, just let me know. Otherwise, we're gonna keep going. So I am using something called a box grater, but I also have a regular grater to show you how to use. So this grater just has a few different sides, and you go down like this versus a normal grater, you would just do it over the bowl. So I am going to show you guys how to do that first, because this is the more common type of grater. So you're going to carefully hold your onion, making sure your fingers are out of the way. And you hold your grater over the top of the big mixing bowl where everything is going to go. And you really just kind of apply medium pressure, the way that you would if you were cracking an egg on to a cutting board, and just go back and forth. And eventually it'll all just fall into the bowl. And since onions are a little liquidy, this is gonna take a little long, but that's okay. It's gonna make the burger that much better. So this is how you would do it for that type of grater. Since I have my box grater, I'm going to use that, but just keep doing that motion over the bowl until you've grated the half of the onion.
We had a little grading cut, so we're gonna run get a Band-Aid.
Okay, I hope you're okay, Joshy. You're just gonna do the whole half of the onion. If you have yours done already, you can just add it into the large mixing bowl with everything else. And then once you're done, I would suggest just rinsing your hands off because this gets a little messy. All right, I got most of my onion out, so I'm going to rinse my hands. All right, so when you have all your onion grated, go ahead and add that into your mixing bowl. And then once you have your onion grated and added to the bowl, give me a thumbs up. Okay, perfect. I see everyone is all set. We are still missing Joshies, who's getting a Band-Aid, but we will catch them up when they come back. So next, we are going to be adding all our seasonings into the mixture. First, we have dried oregano. And we need 1 teaspoon of dried oregano. So that's going to be our measuring spoon with the little t. If it doesn't say teaspoon, you'll find the one with the little t. And then I'm just going to, mine fits into the top of my spice jar. So I'm just going to stick it in there, tap it on the sides a little so it's level. Just take 1 teaspoon of the oregano and dump it right in. Joshy, I see you're back. You've only missed, we only added the oregano to the bowl. That's all that we've gone forward to do. So now that you're here, we'll wait for you to catch up and then we'll be all set. So we're taking 1 teaspoon of oregano and adding it into our large mixing bowl. Once everyone is done with that, just give me a thumbs up. I see 2. Anyone else still working on that? Or are we all good? All right. So we are now going to add in a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So we're going to take our 1/2 teaspoon measuring spoon. I have my salt in a little dish like this, so I'm going to do the same thing. Scoop it in, tap it to level it out, and then just dump it right in the mixing bowl. I see 1 thumbs up, 2. All right, so now we're going to do pepper. So we have a 1/4 teaspoon of ground pepper. That's this one right here. I have my pepper in a mill. So if you guys have the same thing where you have to grind it, I'm just gonna do 1, 2, 3 grinds. So then once you have all that in there, we'll get to the fun part. All right, everyone looks just about ready. Is anyone still working or can we keep going? All right, so now we're gonna add in the feta cheese. If there's any dairy allergies or intolerances, you can always remove the feta or use a dairy-free option as well. I know they make those now, so you could always do that. I am just using a regular feta cheese, and I know the recipe says 1/4 pound, so we can't always measure that. So that's going to be equal to about a 1/2 cup. So we're gonna add a 1/2 cup of feta cheese crumbles, or more or less if you'd like. But I'm just gonna take my 1/2 cup measuring cup, excuse me, and just kind of scoop it in there. Get it full. And then again, just dump that right in as well. Just gonna add the extras that fell onto my cutting board. All right, and then once everyone's done with that, we can add our turkey, which is the last step of ingredients to add. Do we have all thumbs up? Everyone's good to go?
How much Greek yogurt?
No. Do we?
We're not doing that just yet.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
We're gonna do the turkey next. So does everyone have all their feta cheese added? Okay, looks like it. So now we're just gonna take our ground turkey. We have 1 pound of ground turkey. They usually sell it just like that. And you're just gonna do the exact same thing and just add it right in. Once you add in the turkey, you can now feel free to mix it, which is the fun part. You can either use your hands, or if you don't love the texture of it, you can use a fork. That's what I'm gonna do, just so I don't get my hands too dirty, so I can still touch my computer. But if you like the texture of it, you're more than welcome to use your hands as well. That is what I would usually do. I just want to be able to touch my computer if I have to. You just want to mix everything together until it makes one fully combined mixture. So you can see everything's coming together. I see a spot of cheese, a spot of spinach, a little onion in every little corner, and that's how you know that it's pretty much fully mixed. You don't want one section to have just turkey or just spinach. You want it all to have everything, so that way every bite is just as delicious. All right. Yeah, so you kind of want it to look just like that. You see a little bit of everything everywhere. Then once everyone's done with that, just give me a thumbs up and we can keep going. Caitlin, I see you. Joshy, I see you. Sayla, I see you. If you're still working, take your time. You guys are doing great. I'm going to be right back. I'm just going to grab a paper plate. All right, looks like everyone is all set. So now what we're going to do is shape the meat into burger patties. So I'm just gonna take, say, I'm gonna try and split it into quarters. So I'm gonna take a little, about like this size. Then I'm just gonna put it in my hands and roll it into a ball first. And then from there, you just kind of pat it flat. When you're thinking of the size you want to make them, think of the size of your burger bun. And you want to make them a little bit larger than that because they will shrink while they cook. So something around this size would be good. Unless if you wanted to do sliders, you could do that as well. Those you would want to be smaller. And you're just going to make this into 4 burgers. I said roll, shape, and then flatten. You want to try and make them all as similar or close to in size as each other as possible. But if that doesn't happen, that is totally okay. You're just going to want to make sure that they're all fully cooked through before you take them out of the oven later. And I'm just, once I have mine formed, I'm just adding them onto a paper plate. All right, and then once you're done shaping them, you want to make sure you wash your hands very good because we did just touch raw meat. And you want to make sure there's no cross-contamination with anything else in the kitchen. So once you're done forming your burger patties, wash your hands right away. And then once everyone is done forming and washing their hands, just give me a thumbs up. I'm going to go wash my hands right now. So I'll be right back. All right, how is everyone doing? Is everyone ready? Selah, yes, we are making patties with the ingredients we just put together. So everything that was in that big mixing bowl, that's what the patties are made of. All right, so now we are going to move over to our stove tops. And we're gonna start cooking these. So I'm bringing my burgers over as well. You want to make sure you have your oven mitts close by. And a spatula to flip the burgers. So you want to have your pan on the stove top. I'm using a cast iron skillet just because it's really good. It's big too, so it's fitting everything in there, but you guys can use any pan that you may have. So we're gonna grease the pan with just a little bit of oil, nothing crazy, just so that there's no burning. And then we're going to turn the heat onto medium. So we just have to let that heat up a little bit no, we'll wait to do that after. So we'll just let that heat up a little bit. If anyone still needs to wash hands or rinse anything, you can do that now while we're waiting. And then we will add these to the pan after that, and then they'll finish off in the oven. And we'll make the sauce when we are finishing the burgers in the oven. And like I said, make sure you have any oven mitts close by, because we want to be careful because the pan is going to get hot and we are going to have to transfer it into the oven. So anytime we're near or touching a hot pan or an oven, we're always going to want to grab it with our oven mitt on to make sure that we don't burn ourselves. All right, I think my pan is just about ready. So I'm gonna start adding the burgers in there. And I just wanna make sure I give them all enough space. So that way they're evenly located throughout the pan and they can cook evenly as well. I'm just flattening them a little bit once they're in there so they're not super thick. And like I said, they will shrink. You are using your hands to put them in the pan, just be careful. All right, and now they have to cook about 4 to 5 minutes on each side. So I'm gonna go wash my hands again since I just touched them, and I'll be right back. But make sure once your burgers are in the pan, you leave them alone so that they can properly brown on the bottom. So as you can see, the burgers are starting to sizzle a little bit. We have about 3 minutes left before we're gonna wanna flip. And like I said, it's important to make sure that once we have them in the pan, we don't touch them so that way they can properly cook. And then once we flip them, we won't touch them again also. So then that side properly cooks as well. One of the best ways to tell if a burger is cooking is if you look at the bottom of it, you can see that it starts to change color. It's starting to turn more of a white color around the bottom, which means that the heat is coming through to the meat and it's cooking it. So that's pretty cool that you get to watch it change color as it cooks. I'm just gonna look to see how it's doing. They're almost ready. And one of my favorite things about a burger too is you can always customize your toppings and your sauces, so you can make it just the way you like it. I know this recipe mentions adding lettuce and tomato and the Greek yogurt sauce that we're going to make in just a few minutes, but your options are really endless. So you can add whatever you would like to it, which is my favorite part. All right, so my burgers look just about ready. So I am going to start to flip them. So I'm gonna make sure my oven mitt is on my hand, holding onto this end of the pan. I'm gonna grab my spatula and I'm just gonna slide it under the burger quick and then flip it around. And I'm gonna do the same thing for all 4 of the burgers. Slide it under quick, flip. Under quick and flip. So now we're just gonna let them cook for another 4 to 5 minutes before we put them into the oven. How is everyone doing? Has anyone else flipped their burgers yet? Caitlin, you did? Awesome. Nicholas, you did? Sayla, so you can just cook it in the skillet if you'd like to. You just have to be careful of how the burger is doing. I found that sometimes it's a little tricky to be able to cook the burger through on the skillet without burning the outside. So as you can see right now, my burgers definitely are not burnt, but they have to cook for much longer to make sure that the inside is completely done. Since it is turkey, we always cook it fully. So you would want it to reach 165 degrees inside of the burger. So if you are able to do that on the stovetop, that's perfect. You can absolutely do that. Cooking it in the oven afterwards is just a little bit of an easier way to make sure it's cooked through but not burnt. So whatever you would prefer to do, you can do that. You just want to check to make sure that it's cooked through. So that is the one difference between a regular burger and something like a turkey burger or a chicken burger. With a regular burger, sometimes we'll cook them well done, sometimes we'll cook them medium, depending on what someone's preference might be. But since it's turkey and it's poultry, same thing as chicken, we want to make sure it is cooked through completely before we eat it. Otherwise, it might hurt our stomach a little bit. Everyone's doing such a great job, guys. Keep up the good work. I don't know about you, but this is making me very hungry. So I'm definitely going to eat one of these after. All right, so now my burgers are looking pretty good. The other side is starting to cook through as well. Like I said, you can see now the burgers look almost completely white instead of the pink that they had before when we were mixing them. So that's really cool. I'm gonna leave them on for about 1 to 2 minutes more before adding them in the oven. And like I said, if you guys would prefer to do it on the stove top, you can. We are just going to make the sauce after we put them in the oven.
Excuse me.
Yes.
If you're starting to cook the burgers, is it supposed to be like the brownish, sort of brown?
Say that one more time. I couldn't hear.
So, like when you start cooking the burgers, it's supposed to be like a little brown.
Yes, exactly. That's perfect. If you see too, mine over here, they're starting to get a little brown on the top. So that's exactly what you want them to look like. Yes, that looks great, Nicholas. Those look perfect. All right, so my burgers are just about cooked through on the outsides. So I'm going to now turn off my stove and I'm going to transfer them into our preheated oven. So while I'm going to do that, make sure again, we have our oven mitts on if you are doing this. I'm gonna open my oven and then carefully grab my pan and put them in the oven. And I'm gonna set a timer for 5 minutes.
I have a question.
Yes.
How does mine look so far?
Those look great also. You have the right amount of charring. Those look really good.
Thank you.
So if you guys are adding them in the oven again afterwards, just set a timer for 5 minutes. Like I said, it's only based on cooking our burgers through. So if you do have a thermometer, once the timer's up, you just want to check that to make sure they are the right temperature. If you don't have a thermometer, you can always just cut into it to see if it's fully cooked. But is everyone ready to move on to making the sauce? If you are, give me a thumbs up. If not, keep working and take your time. Caitlin, I see you're ready. All right, I see all thumbs up. So perfect. So now we're just gonna make our Greek yogurt sauce quick, which is a very easy sauce to make. First, we're going to measure a 1/2 cup of plain Greek yogurt. I just bought a little one because this is probably the exact amount that I'll use, but I'll measure it to be safe. So I am just going to take my Greek yogurt And then with a spoon, I'm just gonna spoon it into the 1/2 cup measurement until I fill it. So it is, if you have a small container like me, it is pretty much the whole container. So that's an easy way to go about it as well. Like the single serve size container fills the cup perfectly. So now I'm just gonna add the yogurt into my mixing bowl. Once everyone has their yogurt measured and added, give me a thumbs up. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to add the juice of 1/2 of a lemon. And if you were here for our last barbecue class, the potato salad class, I taught a little trick to get more juice out of the lemon. So we're going to do that again. So you're going to take your lemon and on your cutting board, you're going to apply a good amount of pressure and you're just going to roll it back and forth. And what this does is it makes the lemon softer so that you can get more juice out of it. So you're just going to roll it and then you can see as you're rolling it, you feel it to get much softer and squishier. So now mine's really easy to squish. So I'm just going to do a few more times. And then once my lemon is pretty soft, I'm just going to cut it in half. And then just juice it right on top of the yogurt. And I talked about this last class as well. When you're juicing a lemon, you want to do it over your hand and make sure you keep your hand tightly closed. That way you catch all the seeds, but the juice falls through. So now you don't have to go digging for seeds after. And sometimes a few will fall through and that's okay. But this usually catches most of them. So as you see, all those seeds are now in my hand. So I'm just going to throw those out. Once you have your lemon juice added, give me a thumbs up. I see one. I see everyone squeezing their lemons really hard. Good job. Perfect. Okay, so now all we just have to do is add a little bit and salt and pepper to taste. So what that means is just whatever you would like. So I'm just gonna do 2 pepper scrunches and just a little sprinkle of salt. And then once you have all that in your bowl, you're just going to mix it all together so it makes a nice sauce. Now it's all combined. You can see the little peppers flakes in there. And this will be perfect to go on top of the burger. And then once everyone is done with your sauce, give me a thumbs up. Caitlin, I see you. I see Kathleen. I see everyone else mixing hard. Keep it up. Good job, Nicholas.
Oh, make it bad.
Only 5 minutes in the oven, right? The burgers?
Yes, and you might need a few minutes after, if you have a thermometer to check, that's where you would want to add more time if they're not fully cooked through, or like I said before, you can always cut into it, and if there's still any pink on the inside, you could add a few more minutes.
It smells good. It smells good.
165, correct?
Yes,
Lemon and yogurt actually smell very good.
you like the smell of it?
Yeah.
Me too.
I want to add pepper because my dad's allergic to pepper, so we didn't add pepper.
Yeah, that's totally fine. You can always leave anything out that you don't like, or if anyone has an allergy to something.
Well, this does smell very, very nice.
It's nice, it's very tart, so it adds a nice bite to the whole flavor of the burger.
It actually sounds like if you had a candle in your room and then you had a yogurt, a lemon candle scented candle.
Yeah, it does. You're right.
Like you had that in your room, just like have it all day. Like if
Okay,
people
Papa,
have
she has to
this,
finish, okay?
it would be nice.
All right, how's everyone doing? Are we all set? Perfect. Okay, so I think my burgers are just about done. Like I said, if your burgers are in the oven when they come out, if you have a thermometer, check to see if they are at 165 degrees. I'll type that in the chat. On the inside. And if they're not, you can just cook them for 2 more minutes or so and check the temperature again. If you can't check the temperature with a thermometer, you can always just cut into it, and you want to make sure that there's no pink. So you want it all to be the color that it is on the outside now. And then the recipe says you could add tomato on your burger, you could add lettuce, you could add some more cheese, whatever you want to do. That's the best part of making a burger. You can add whatever toppings you want. You can add the sauce that we just made, and then you'll have a delicious burger to have. I know I'm going to have one soon. Josh, he said he's going to have it for dinner. I hope you guys all enjoy it. It's a great summer recipe. Are there any questions at all before we finish for the class?
Oh, did you know my sister's name is Kathleen?
It's Kathleen.
Yeah, my sister.
Hi, Kathleen.
Yeah, it's my older sister. My mom's right next to me. My dad's sleeping in his room.
That's so fun. You get to cook with everyone.
Yes, thank you, because this is gonna be his pre-Father's Day lunch.
Oh, great. I hope everyone gets to have to try it today or at some point. I hope you guys all had so much fun cooking, and if you want to sign up for our other classes, like I said, in July, we're going to be making some barbecue sides, and then in August, we're going to be making some popsicles, some homemade fruit popsicles. So if you guys want to sign up for those classes, the link is in the chat box. So you guys are more than welcome to come. I'd be so happy to see you all again. I hope everyone has a great day and had so much fun, okay? Thanks, guys.
I have a question.
Oh, I'm waiting
Yes,
too.
what's your question?
So, the thing said for the ingredients.